Well, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. As you saw in the title to the video, why Tundra over the F-150? And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit here. And first of all, I can tell you that I've had many trucks. And I've had recently a couple of F-150s, and I currently have the Toyota Tundra. And I'm going to start off here. I'll tell you about my experience with the F-150s. I had two recently within the last 2-3 years. And they both were the F-150 XLT. I believe they call it the double cab. I would call it the same as the Crew Max on the Toyota Tundra. In other words, the same double doors, full double doors, and the same amount of room, or pretty darn close, in the back seat area. So the trucks were in their class the same as far as the class of truck goes, I'd say. So the first F-150 that I had, my experience with that truck, there was an issue with the infotainment system. I had problems getting it to do anything, really. I would say that, first of all, it was way too complicated. I consider myself to be a fairly tech-savvy guy, but I could never get it to work properly. It just didn't seem to do what it was supposed to do. And as far as Bluetooth connectivity to my phone, and I had a couple of different ones, I believe, in the time period of both, I never could get it to work properly. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. And I will point out there has been a little bit of issue with that in the Tundra as far as clarity on the other end of the call. So I can't say that Toyota really trumps Ford there, but that's the only issue I've had in the Tundra as compared to the F-150 with phone connectivity. It still works fine otherwise, and it works very well otherwise, no other problems, but I had issues with the infotainment system in the Ford. Now, that's not a deal breaker, you know. It's annoying, but it wasn't a deal breaker. The deal breaker for me was the transmission. It started out and continued in going from reverse to drive. You know, I would back out of the garage in the morning and then go to put it into drive to take off and go about my business. And there, first of all, there was a lag, a long lag. And when I say long, I would say probably somewhere in the realm of a couple of seconds, which may not sound like a long period of time, but when you're sitting in a vehicle and you're ready to go and you shift it into drive, you expect it to engage and you then can take off and do your thing, right? But the F-150 wasn't like that. I would go from reverse to drive, I would have the lag, and then there would be a lurch into drive, almost like a clunky kind of a lurch. You know, it would jump forward, and it was hard. You could feel it engage. Something just not right about that. Now, people will say that, you know, it was under warranty, you can take it in, excuse me, you can have it fixed, and that's true. But, you know, frankly, warranties are great. I mean, don't get me wrong. It does give you the opportunity to take a new vehicle back in and have things corrected, which is fine. But it's a hassle. I mean, you have to take time off work, be late to work, whatever, and drag the thing in, and then wait for it to be done, or hopefully get a loaner car, which is the best scenario in that situation, and come back and pick it up later, within the hours of the dealership, of course. Now, it just happens that the dealerships that I was dealing with did not offer loaner cars. They offered rental cars. You could pay to rent a car if you wanted to, but now you're spending more money. So really, the warranty in the end wasn't free, unless you had somebody to, you know, pick you up. They do have the shuttles, but again, you're now at the discretion of someone else. You in essence are stranded wherever they drop you off because you don't have your vehicle. And you have to wait for the person that's going to be chauffeuring you around to show up to pick you up or to get ready in the morning, because I would get there quite early to drop mine off to take you wherever it is you need to go. So that's a drag. So I experienced that problem, and then foolishly I decided that I couldn't stand that anymore, and I was going to buy another F-150. This is about a year later, the next model year or whatever. So I did that. I got, in essence, the same truck. It was a different color, but it was the Ford XLT, crew cab, double cab, whatever. Because I thought that there's no way that you're going to experience that same issue in a different model year. But I was wrong. I got that truck, and I will say they did improve the infotainment system. That they made a change, went to something different, and that system was much simpler to use. They did simplify it some, and I didn't have any connectivity with the phone from that point forward. So I will give kudos to Ford for that. They did an excellent job with the infotainment system, but the transmission problem remained. It was identical to the problem that I had before. You back up, shift into drive, there's a lag, there's a lurch, a clunk, and then you could go after about a 2-second delay. Very annoying. Now, some people might argue that I was too impatient. You know, obviously when you're shifting from reverse to drive, there's going to be a lag. It does have to engage the drive gears. I don't disagree with that. However, as I said in the beginning, I've had many trucks. I've had Tacomas, I've had a Ram Rebel, and going way back, a Frontier, some Chevys. So I've had several, and none of them, except for the two F-150s, had that problem. Most recently, as I mentioned earlier, I have a Toyota Tundra. And the reason I went with the Tundra, and the reason that I would say that you should go with the Tundra over any other model, and particularly Ford, is reliability. You know, Toyota seems to put a lot of effort and care into their trucks. They seem to really be concerned with reliability, and I think they're hitting the mark. This Toyota Tundra that I have, and it's a 2018 Crew Max, it's the limited trim level, has had no issues except for that minor infotainment system issue with folks on the other end. It may just be the phone, as I'm finding out as time goes by. But that's the only problem I've had, and I haven't taken it to the dealership for that because, frankly, it's not a big enough concern for me. But I've had no other problems with that truck. I haven't had to take it in once for warranty, not for anything, not for even the simplest, smallest little thing. I can't find anything wrong with the truck. Not that I'm, you know, going over it with a magnifying glass, because I'm not quite that, you know, concerned. But no problems whatsoever. It's been very reliable. It does what it's supposed to do. I certainly don't have the drive or reverse rather to drive problem with the transmission. Of course, again, as I said, there's always going to be a lag when you shift from reverse to drive. I understand that. But you should not have to sit there and wait for the truck to catch up with you, you know? I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know if the latest models, and you Ford guys out there who might see this, or anyone that has experience with it, let me know. Leave a comment down below. I'd be curious to know if any of the more recent models are still experiencing that issue. And if you are, you will know, and you will know what I mean, because while you're sitting in your driveway waiting for the thing to catch up, it'll be a little frustrating, I believe. So I think for me, why a Tundra over an F-150? Reliability. I mean, in the end, you know, any vehicle that you buy, forget about all the perks and the tech and, you know, all the little bells and whistles and all that stuff. We buy trucks to get us from point A to point B. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, you can have all the tech in the world, but it's not much fun if you're sitting in your driveway because it won't move. So reliability, I would say that is the biggest thing that all of us probably deep down are really concerned with. Nobody wants to be running back and forth to the dealership, whether you're under warranty or not. When you buy a vehicle, you want it to do what it's supposed to do. You want it to take you from point A to B, and you don't want to have to screw with it. And that's what the Tundra gives you, reliability. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here and talk about that for a minute. As usual, please give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and leave a comment down below if you have any experience with Ford. Are they still like that? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the web. Have a good day. Bye.